of the age. May God bless today's scripture passage. Now there was a train accident and folks were lined up at the gates of heaven to go in. And as they got to St. Peter said, well, what religion are you? And the person said, well, I'm Methodist. He said, all right. He said, room 24. He said, but be quiet as you go by room 8. And the next one came up and he said, well, what religion are you? And he said, I'm Catholic. He said, very good. He said, that'd be room 18, but be very quiet when you go by room 8. He said, all right. And the next person in line came up and said, what religion are you? He said, I'm a disciple. He said, you're in room 19. He said, but be quiet when you go by room 8. He said, you know, I've been standing in line here and I've heard you tell everybody to be quiet when you're going by room 8. Well, I'm not complaining, but can you tell me why do we got to be quiet when we go by room 8? He said, because the Baptists are in there, and they think they're the only ones up here. Any Baptists out there? I used to be a Baptist, so I'm okay with that joke. It's just a joke. I hope. Although there are some denominations that think they're the only ones that are going to be in heaven, right? And I can tell you right now, they're dealing with alternate facts there. That's what they're dealing with. They're dealing with some fake news is what they're dealing with. Because that's not the good news of the gospel. That's not what the gospel says. It's kind of funny, you know, when you're dealing with people and how they see things so differently. Even denominations that we see things differently. You know, there are some people who think, well, if you don't do it this way, then you're just not going to heaven. You're just not going to make it. You know, if you don't do it this way, you're not going to make it. We have a whole lot of different beliefs, don't we? You know, and that's, I guess, why we have so many different churches, too, right? But, you know, when I sit here and say, you know, I'm going to deal with alternate facts or fake news or whatever, because those are the buzzwords of the day, right? We've heard a lot of that in the last couple of weeks about alternate facts. And it's just more of a distraction than anything else. And don't worry, I'm not getting into politics. I don't care how many people were at the inauguration. And it's not worth the 42 seconds I just took to explain that, because it doesn't determine how well or how bad the president's going to do in the next 4 years. So, I mean, but the term alternate facts kind of got my attention, because it's like, that's kind of different, isn't it? Alternate facts. What does that mean? Well, you know, alternate facts mean, I guess, a lot of different things to a lot of different people. I mean, alternate facts can be just a straight out lie. I mean, let's be honest, it can be a straight out lie. Or it could be that people seeing the same facts and making a different determination, right? Or it could be that people have additional data that some people don't have and make a determination based on that, right? So there's a lot of different ways you can go with alternate facts. You know, what exactly does that mean? And there's a great illustration, and Pam kind of showed it in children's message this morning with the man with the hat on, you know, is he wearing a hat, not wearing a hat, you know, and we look at things like that. And there was one I saw on the internet with two guys, and they're standing over a number painted on the floor. And they say, well, what number is it? And they're each standing at one end. One says, well, it's a 6. And the other guy goes, no, that's a 9. And which one's right? Right? It all depends on the perspective that you bring coming into something. Correct? You know, I look at the gospel in my own perspective. You know, I believe the whole gospel and the Bible itself is based on a relationship between God and His people. I base everything that I see in the gospel out of relationship. Now, not everybody looks at it that way, but that's the way I see it. You know, there's different theologies and there's different denominations because we can't agree on stuff, right? How many times have you seen a church split because, well, half the church wanted to do this and half the church wanted to do this, or 12 people wanted to do this, or 12 people left, they formed their church, and then they couldn't agree on that, so they split and went somewhere. Churches split all the time, right? I guess that's why we have so many churches and denominations, but it's kind of sad because it separates us as we get into the legalism of what's right and what's wrong, you know, and there's a lot of things to disagree about, you know, and it's a lot of things that you know, we can't agree on. You know, what do you need? You know, do you baptize as an infant, or do you baptize as an adult? You know, is it sprinkle or is it immersion? You know, how often do we do communion, and why do we do it? And And what happens at communion? You know, there's disagreements among us, right, about what we believe about that. Some people, we take communion every time we gather, right? And some churches do it once a month or once a quarter. And I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just saying it's not the way we do it, right? Right. So there's a lot of things to disagree on, and especially when it comes to religion. And I guess my point here is, you know, what's real? Because we're all looking at the same facts, aren't we? We're all basing, hopefully, we're all based in what we believe from the Bible. So what's true? You know, what is the true among all the fake news, I call it fake news, or alternate news, or whatever you want to call it. Whatever works for you, and I don't mean that in an insulting way to anybody or anything, so please don't take it that way. But what I'm saying is, where's the truth at?
I look in the Bible.
The Bible? Okay, we're going to use the Bible. I'm glad you brought it up. We're going to use the Bible. We're going to look at something just as simple and just as basic as this. You know, what does it take to be saved? Now, we should be able to come to an agreement on that.
Putting your faith in Jesus Christ and work on the cross.
But you know, that's one interpretation. That's one interpretation.
I mean, I don't know what else to hang on to except what He's done for me, trying to erase my sins.
Amen. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that's one interpretation. I'm saying there are people who say that's not correct. I'm not saying it's not correct, and we're going to get into that. So don't start jumping on me. Don't start jumping. Before y'all start, wait. Put those stones down. Put those stones down. Let me finish. Let me finish. What I'm saying is, we can go to the Bible. We can find some stuff that tells maybe a different story to some, right? And I want to look at that today, because I think that's a basic thing. You know, I think most people will agree, well, I think all Christians will agree that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, came to earth, died for our sins, rose on the third day, ascended into heaven, right? I think we can all agree on that. I think most Christians, I don't know any Christians that don't believe that. If you're a Christian, I think that's a common belief. Now, what do you do to be saved? And Billy brought up one thing. Billy brought up one thing here.
You don't do anything to be saved.
You can't do it. Well, we're going to get there. We're going to get there. But it does say by faith, you know, if we look in Ephesians or we look in Romans, where it says what? Go ahead, tell me, Jim. I know you're dying to say it. Go ahead.
Well, you mean Romans 3:23?
Go ahead. Tell me.
All have sinned. All have sinned.
All have sinned.
So short of the glory of God.
Yep. So we all need a Savior, right? So first we got to make sure we clarify that we all sinners, right? So we all need a Savior. We all need Jesus to come and die on that cross for us, right? To pay for our sins. Now, how many of you believe that? I hope I see more hands than that. Everybody, thank you. Thank you. All right. Is that enough? Because if you look at Romans and you look at Ephesians, it says you're saved by faith alone and not by deeds. That's what it tells you. It's what it tells you in the Bible. You mean to read you the verse? Right here, Ephesians 2, 8 and 9, it says, for it is by grace that you have been saved through faith. And this is not from yourself, it's a gift from God. Not by works. So no one can boast. That's Ephesians right there. So it tells me in the Bible that it's by what? Faith. By faith. And it's backed up in Romans. It says man is justified by what? Faith, without necessity of deeds of the law. Okay, well.
You still do the good works.
Oh, we're going to get to that too. So if you look at that, then you would say, okay.
Now we're talking about that.
I'm a believer. I believe. I have faith. And things cut and dry. Time to go to lunch, right? Sermon over. So, but then we look at over at James.
Faith without works is dead.
Okay. Wait a minute. Let me get there. Y'all jumping all ahead of me now. Let me get there. Please. Ham already stole my illustration. Billy stole my scripture. I mean, come on, somebody. But it says, this is James 2:24. It says you see that a person is considered righteous by what they do and not by faith alone. What? What? Wait a minute. Wait a minute, that's in the Bible.
Who's he talking to?
It's in the Bible. We're going to get to that too. But those are the people who say, well, it's not either or both. It's just by works alone. Because if you were here for Sunday school, Billy read you a whole list of things that you were supposed to do, right? That fall under that commandment of what? Love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your love, and love man, right? But he said, when God comes there in the judgment, he has a place right here, and come and take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. When I was thirsty, you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me. Well, if you just read that in that context, it would seem to say that, it's your good works and doing all these good things that's going to get you into heaven. But you have to receive the whole picture. And that's the thing that I think we need to realize, is that all those things taken out of context can say something different. John 3:16 says what? God so loved the world, only Son. Whosoever what? Believeth in him shall have eternal life. So that speaks loudly to me. That speaks loudly to me. That tells me that it's my faith. Now, does that mean if I have faith that I don't do good deeds?
No.
Someone touched on that earlier. No. That I don't need deeds. It's not a matter of you needing deeds. That you do them because of what?
Love.
Because of love. Because you're in that relationship with Christ. If you look at John 15:1, Jesus talks about being the vine, and we're the branches, right? And we need to stay in him, and he needs to stay in us, right? And if he's in us, then we do his works, right? That we live out that love that he showed us, right? He gave us when we didn't deserve it. I didn't do anything to deserve him dying on the cross for me. Maybe you did. I can't think of a single thing that God would say, he's worth that. You go down there and die on the cross. We did nothing. You can't do nothing. Billy, I think, just said that a few minutes ago. You don't do anything but believe. You believe. You place your faith in God Almighty that he sent his Son to come and live and die on a cross for us. And it's through that faith that you're saved. But because you have a relationship with Christ, because the vine is in the branch, and the branch is connected to the vine. You have that connection. Then you're going to go out and do these good deeds. You see, if you look at the context of James, you said, what's the context? That was a good question. It's a good question. He was talking about Abraham. He was talking about Abraham's faith being fulfilled by his actions. And that he was considered a friend of God. Now, friend is an unusual word. A friend of God means that you have what? A relationship with God. Right? When you're a friend with somebody, you have a relationship with that person, right? They're not your blood. Well, they could be your kin. I mean, I know people who are family that are really good friends. But you have a relationship. And what do friends do for each other? They help each other. Man, they just help each other. If I needed something done, and I asked my friends, I'm moving, can you be here Saturday? They'd be saying, no, I'm playing golf. But other people's friends, they would probably come and help, right? But people's friends, we help each other. If my friend called me, he needed something, and I could help him, I could physically or financially or whatever, do something to help him, and he needed that help, I'd be glad to do it. Because we have that relationship, right? And the same thing with Christ. We have that relationship with Christ. And he's in us, and we should be in him. In other words, we should do the acts that he would do if he was here himself. So when it says, when I was hungry, you fed me, and when I was thirsty, you gave me something to drink. When I was naked, you clothed me. When I was in prison, you came and visited me. He's speaking to us, too. There's a lot of that out there. There's a lot of people in need out there. There's a lot of people in the darkness out there that need a light shown into their life. You know, we talked about that some in the previous weeks here, about shining your light in other people's lives and making a difference. You see, not everybody can get up and preach. Not everybody's eloquent with words, not that I am, but not everybody's eloquent with words and can teach Sunday school or do those things. And sometimes we struggle to communicate God's love to people and the story of salvation. But the greatest way that we can communicate that to people is through our actions. And I think all this other mess, fake news or alternate news, just kind of like what it is to us in the real world. It's a distraction, isn't it? I mean, let's be real. If you're looking over here, you're not looking over here, right? So if I can get you to put out something to get you to look over here, I can be busy at work out here, right? Well, the thing is the devil or Satan or the adversary or whatever you want to call him wants us to be looking over here. He wants us to be so distracted with the legalism, with, well, we don't do it this way. Those disciples dance. They do. And I think they've even had a beer or two. And we don't do that here in our church. And we're so busy worried about those type of things that we're not worried about the people outside those doors. We're so busy perfecting our little square room that we live in that we don't go outside and help those who don't know Christ. We're so busy fighting among denominations. Well, my denomination is better than your denomination, or we do this and you don't do that. That nitpicky stuff, that fake news that Satan wants to put over here, so you're looking right here, you're looking right here. And what you're not doing is God's work over here. Right? In the Sunday school lesson this morning, part of it was part of the legalism, right? The Jews wanted, in the letter to the Galatians, they were fussing about, should I be circumcised or not circumcised? It was a big thing. Do we need to follow all the rules of the Jewish faith to be a Christian? It was legalism at its best. And Paul was saying, no, you don't. You need to believe in Jesus Christ. And that's what we need to concentrate on. We need to worry about how do we get the word from right here to out there. Because trust me, somebody brought this up this morning. They were talking about friends were dying. Friends are getting sick. And people of my age are getting sick. Yeah. People of all our ages are getting sick and they're dying. You know what? We have an expiration date. I don't know what mine is, but we all have one. Right? Mine could be in 20 minutes from now. I don't know. I don't know. And neither do you. But the point is, we don't know what the expiration date is on those people we encounter out there either. There's not a lot of time to waste. There's work to be done. And we as the church, not Ledbetter Christian Church, but as the greater church, are failing in our mission. Because we're so distracted by the other stuff. And we need to come together and get down to business, I should say. C.S. Lewis uses a great illustration, and I'm going to steal it, and I'm going to add a little bit to it, and kind of make it to drive a point home. But he talks about the church, Christianity, or we'll just say Christianity, as like a big house. And as you come into the house, the hallway has to cross, and the empty tomb. Because we all get into the house through the hallway, right? We all are in need of the cross, because the cross represents Christ dying for our sins, and we accept that. And that He's our risen Savior is at the empty tomb. Right? So that's the hallway into Christianity. We all believe that. That as a universal church of Christ, we believe that. He said, but beyond that hallway, there's a bunch of little rooms. And once we get past that initial hallway, we go into our rooms. And there's rooms that believe that, sprinkling is the way to go. And there's a room over here that thinks, no, you have to You have to be fully immersed twice for some people, but you definitely need to be dunked, you know. And there's people here who think, well, we only do communion every third Sunday, and there's people here who say we do communion. There's a room for people who do communion every Sunday, and there's a room for people who talk in tongues, and there's the people who talk about the people talking in tongues. I mean, you know, there's a room for everybody. It's where you're comfortable at, right? So we find those rooms. But the problem with those rooms is they, what? They divide us. And we're not all together for one mission. You know, that we're kind of stuck in our little individual rooms. You know, I remember back when I was in the service, and I'm going to come back to what I was just talking about, but I remember back when I was in the service, you had, in the newer barracks, they're not, I've lived in both. The old barracks are just one straight hallway from everything on, but the new barracks are more like condos almost. They really are. But you might have an 8-man room or a 10-man room or a smaller 4-man room. But we were all in our room. We'd be doing our stuff. We'd be polishing shoes or polishing or goofing off or fighting or whatever we did to kill time at that time. And all of a sudden the alarm would go off. And everybody would drop what they were doing and file out of the building and fall into formation. And we came together as a unit to be accountable, or be accounted for, right? And there usually wasn't a fire. There really wasn't a real emergency, so they wanted us out of the building. But that doesn't really matter. What matters is that when they called us, we all came out and we formed a unit, right? Right, straight? Is that the way it works? Yep, we come out and we form a unit. And we were together. You know, if you read the book of Acts, and if you read the 2nd chapter, it talks a whole lot about the early church being together. Not in separate rooms. That we were one church. That we were one Christian faith. That we acted in the best interest of each other. That we had a sole mission to spread the good news of the gospel. Why are we in our rooms now? Is the question. You know, there's only one voice that can call us out of those rooms, and it's Jesus Christ. And in today's passage, He calls us out of those rooms. He tells us that there is a job for us, and that job is to go and to make believers of all nations. He's calling all Christians out of their room. It's like the fire alarm just went off. And He's saying you need to go from your comfort zone, from your church that only believes this, or your church that believes that. You need to quit worrying about what other little churches believe, but you need to come outside those doors, and you need to spread my light into a dark world who is looking for someone to show them a way home. And that's what we're called to do. Each and every one of us. Not just the preacher or the Sunday school teacher or the piano player. No. It's your job. It's your job. So yes, you are saved by faith, which manifests what? Good works. In the fashion of love. That's right. Billy says the best. Say it one time, Billy. Love. I like the way Billy says it. Don't y'all like the way Billy says it? I'm not picking on you, Billy. I really like the way you say it. But in everything we do and everything we say, when we leave this place, we need to reflect love. Because that's what we're called to do. And if you can't preach the gospel with your words, then preach it with your actions. Can somebody say amen? Amen. Amen.